Cemetery. Hey, you're first. Who was that? Chris Diaz. Good morning to you. Beautiful day here in the Northwoods of Wisconsin. Sun's just been coming up. It's going to be 90 today. That's why we're doing the early start. It's going to be windy too. Don't know my mic is on. Hold on. Let me turn this baby on because it's going to get windy. Can you guys hear me okay? All right, we'll try that out for size. Hey, Cheryl D, how you doing? Tracy Smith, what's up? Melissa, Barry, Yvette, TJ, Kay Evans, Joshua's here. You guys got your coffee? Good morning. Good Sunday morning. We are in Fifield, Wisconsin, for those of you just coming in. Just north of Phillips. Remember what we did last Sunday? We're going to do a similar kind of thing. Go on a little discovery mission. Tell some stories. A couple of really good stories here today. One really that's fascinating, World War II story. Someone here, someone who grew up here in Fifield. Forest Home Cemetery, beautiful little cemetery in the woods. Oh, we got Gail, Monica, Beth, Dawn Taylor's back. What's going on? Yeah, so a little update. What can we give you an update? Let's see, we got Danielle, April, Kathy. Okay, good. We got a good crew. We're not going to have as big a crowd today, I don't think, because we're early birds. I bet a lot of you were partying last night. One thing I want to start off, speaking of partying, I'm sure Britton's not going to be here because he usually goes out on. He's a single guy, goes out Saturday nights, Wrigleyville, where he lives. But I wanted to give him a shout out. I've got to do a post when I get a chance. Remember, oh gosh, who? I got to look up who sent me the notification that at Bohemian National Cemetery, Lester's grave was toppled over. The little boy, remember that story I did of the little boy who got bad grades and his parents made him feel terrible and he shot himself in the heart. And it kind of it reminded me of some of the bully stories when I was little. So I took kind of a special, and someone alerted Ashley, I think it was, or Alice, going back through my notes here. Here it is. I want to give a shout out to Patrick Lynch on if you're not on our Facebook page, check it out. I think we've got 13,000 plus or 15,000. We have a big group there, a lot of cool stories, and it's a great community there. Great job, Ashley, by the way. But Patrick Lynch there said, let's take a break from Hollywood and go back to Chicago for a while. He was at Bohemian National Cemetery, and it was the sad story of Lester Parizek. So Lester Stone was knocked over. You can kind of see there. And then Britton texted me last night or the other day, and he took care of business with it. Took 3 of his friends to get this thing. There's Britton. You guys know Britton, right? Shout out to Britton for getting the Lester's stone back up. I'll do a post on this, but this is how it looked when he got there. Took 3 guys to get that stone fixed. So shout out to Britton and friends back in Chicago. Hopefully get to see you. Maybe next year I'll be passing through. And then a little update here. I'm just sitting here. It's a beautiful morning, man. It's going to be hot today, though. I'm glad we're doing this early. I was out golfing with my son yesterday. It was brutally hot. It's not this humid up here. But anyway, Rhode Island, just want to make a little update announcement, is a go. October 20th, Friday, right before Halloween, in Lincoln, Rhode Island. If you happen to be in the area, there is a place called Hearthland, not Hearth, like the hearth of a fireplace, Hearthland House. It's a mansion, and I'll be speaking from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Friday night. I think it's the October 20th. So there's going to be more information coming out on that. and there will be tickets. I think it's 50 people max. There's going to be a lot of locals. So if you are going to come, I think there's a handful of you that notified me you're coming. I know there's a handful. So the tickets will go on sale probably a month before the event. I know a couple of you have called. That's what Kathy there says. So I think we'll be in good shape. So you guys ready to do some walking and some looking? What do you think? I see Ashley. Alice is here. Cool. I'm sure Ashley's busy with the little one. But all right, grab your coffee. Let's go for a walk. And let's have a look around here. Can everybody hear me okay? Do we have a good picture? I'm sitting on the ground, so I'm going to stand up. All right, here we go. I'm going to try to carry my coffee here at the same time. So let's go, Sarah says. Sarah Fleming. Okay, so we're at this little cemetery here called Forest Home in Fifield, Wisconsin, way in the North Woods. And the first grave, now I found about 8. I went through the Find a Grave day before yesterday, and I found 8 interesting or 9 interesting stories. I forget how many. Or at least pictures, so we can put a face. This is an old stone. We have Grace E. Ball, 1877 to 1918. And then her husband, Ora O. Ball. And I'm sure they were probably not the first pioneers here. 1870s, 1880s, started getting the logging operations going here in pretty quick succession. And this is what Grace looks like, or looked like. Thanks, Danielle, for the 279. That's for Britain, right? We'll put the stone here. I don't have any information on Grace, but we do have her picture here. And I thought that was interesting. But no, just a picture. It's kind of like the ovals, right? Thanks, Fred. Appreciate it. Now I'm going to call this the big story. We're going to go right to it, guys. This is a story that really intrigues me. This is World War II story, and we have someone here that was at the battle. Now their body, it's Howard Doan. Howard, this is a memorial, a cenotaph, if you will. Howard was in the battle in the Navy, and he was lost at sea. He was not recovered. But I'm going to leave a bunch of information on him. And it says here, in memory of our son who died in Second Battle of Philippines, resting at sea. And yeah, October 26, 1944 was basically the Battle Off Samar. I don't know if any of you are World War II aficionados, but I'm going to try and tell you the story here from my memory, because this is probably one of the biggest battles in the Pacific against the Japanese Imperial Fleet. And we are already making our advance to the north, of course, island hopping. And this is when MacArthur had talked President Roosevelt to Admiral King's dismay. They were having a spirited discussion about reoccupying, invading the Philippines and take the Philippines back. And Halsey, not Halsey, MacArthur, General MacArthur was arguing and that was personal, MacArthur was Mr. Philippines. He lived there. He just had a personal connection. His family was there, and he had to escape on that PT boat. So he said, I'm coming back for you. And he wanted to make good. So President Roosevelt thought it was a good, I think it was more good, what's the word I'm trying to say? Morale. It was going to be good morale. It was the right thing to do. So he said he gave MacArthur permission. So what we're talking about here is the Battle of Leyte Gulf. And There were, well, Howard was there in the Herman, it's the Herman, one of the destroyers, Fletcher class destroyers. So what went down there was we were landing about 130,000 troops, Army, I think it was the 6th Army, there as surprise, late takeoff to take the Philippines. This was the big move. And they had already battled General Kurita's force, including the battleship Yamato, the biggest battleship in the world. I think he had 4 battleships, he had cruisers, he had 12 destroyers, massive fleet. They had action the day or two before, the night I should say, in the night. San Bernardino Strait to the north, I think it was, and it was a big clash. So they thought Kurita was retreating. Now, in the meantime, while there were tons of, we had the 7th Fleet that was to the south in action. We had Admiral Halsey in the 3rd Fleet who got decoyed. He's supposed to be protecting the backside, all these landings, and he gets decoyed by the Japanese, and he goes off to the northwest. He's gone. So they're totally exposed, those 130,000 troops, and all they have is they've got some destroyers, they got some escort carriers, the little carriers like Gambier Bay or the Howell, and there was one task force called Taffy 3. Now this is where we're getting to this famous story that I'll never forget. Taffy 3, there's Taffy 1, Taffy 2, and Taffy 3, and they're composed of escort carriers, the smaller carriers, and destroyers, Fletcher class destroyers and Butler class destroyers, which were more, Butler class were more escort destroyers. And they were not there to defend and keep the Japanese off the 3rd Army. They were there, or the 6th Army, they were there to, on submarine patrol. They were not geared. They had some depth charges and torpedoes, but they were not supposed to be fighting battleships. Well, that's what happened, because a TBF Avenger, remember the plane that I had that I crashed in, which they just found last year? One of the Avengers off one of the escort carriers spotted the Japanese fleet that they thought was retreating, double back, was coming head on, totally exposed. And the crux to the story here is, this is where these 3 particular destroyers, the Samuel B. Roberts, the I can't pronounce it all. H-E-E-R Herman, I think it's, I'm not sure the pronunciation. And then the 3rd destroyer, which was commanded by a guy named Commander Ernest Evans. Ernest Evans, superhero. Wait till you hear what I tell you about him. And he was on the Johnston. Okay, so you got the Johnston, the Herman, and the Samuel B. Roberts. And these 3 destroyers go right straight into these battleships, the biggest battleship in the world. And from 17 miles, they're lobbing in shells. And these guys are zigzagging. So the first guy to go in was the Samuel B. Roberts, who was commanded by Copeland. And he actually gets so close, they can't depress the guns. He comes right in. It's like the movie Greyhound. Have you seen the movie Greyhound with Tom Hanks? Now that's in the Atlantic. They're submarine hunting or escorting the cargo ships to England, troop ships. And he goes right in and he actually blows the stern off. I think it was, I can't remember which battleship. I think it was Congo or one of them. No, it was not that one. But anyway, so he's coming out and he's like bruised up and they're heavily damaged. Herman is in there, but the next one to come through is Samuel B. Johnston, the Johnston with Evans, and Evans goes right in. And they're taking so much punishment. And the thing that I remember, I think it was Copeland who was coming out, and it was the 2nd run for Commander Evans. And I'm going to show you his picture. Commander Evans, I brought it. This is the thing that just stands out to me, is he said he looked at him and he was going in for the suicide. He had no torpedoes left. He was just trying to disrupt and buy time for the MacArthur's troops. and they said his hand was blown off. Half his men were killed. The ship was barely floating, and he's going full steam right at the Yamato. And he said that this is Copeland on the Samuel B. Roberts looked, and they gave him a salute, and he just said he was standing there all bloody, one arm missing, and he gave the final salute. This is Ernest Evans, and goes in. Ernest Evans was never found. Half his men, I think 90 died, 120 saved. Both the Samuel B. Roberts and the Johnston went down, and the capper on it is they just found the ships in the deepest water in the trench there, the Philippine Sea. In 2019, and then last year they found the Samuel B. Roberts. I forget which one what, but they found both of them. If you go on YouTube, I'll put the links in when I get back down in the description once I get this uploaded or get back where I can do something. They just found them, and the depth is 22 to 23,000 feet. We're talking Titanic depth, and they sent, they're the deepest wrecks out there found. So anyway, let me just, that's the story. And we want to give our hats off to Howard Doan, who was lost there. He was on one of those destroyers, and that is his picture. Excuse the glare. And he grew up here, apparently. That's why this is here. And in these packets, I have all the information of the battle. But here is Ernest Edwin Evans. So you see what he looks like. This is the guy who was saluting, who died valiantly along with so many other men in the Philippine Sea there at the Battle Off Samar. Just crazy, huh? All right, let's walk around and look at some more stones. And I'm going to focus more on the older section. But we're going to look at one up here first that I found a lot of pictures, ancestry type pictures. Well, they're all on the Find a Grave. So how you guys all doing? Is the picture okay? Hopefully we have a decent signal here. Beautiful morning. Going to be a hot one today. How's the weather across the country? You guys holding up? Long Island is here. Picture's good. Larry Borkstrom, what's going on, Lair Dog? Lair Dog's with us. All right, good. Looking great. We are in the Northwoods in Fifield, Wisconsin at Forest Home Cemetery. And we got over 300 people with us. Wow, this early? A lot of you guys woke up. I'm going to have to go back. I left my coffee back there on the way out. I'll have to pick that up. Remind me when I finish. I don't want to leave that out here. I drank most of it. All right, humid in Alabama. When's it gonna, you know what? The leaves are starting to turn here at some of the trees, the maple trees. Yeah, Teresa, Florida's still hot and humid, huh? That's what my son told me. I guess they won. Florida Atlantic won last night. Also Kansas. Kansas did great. They beat, I think it was Missouri State. Northern California is cool. Where are you at in Northern California? You're near San Francisco. Susan Sell. Irish Heart cannot wait for fall. Awesome. All right, we're going to look at this grave right here. I'm going to show you some pictures. Right here, Tollers or Tollers. This is Opal. Mrs. Opal Tollers. I'm going to have a look here. I think what I'll do is I'm going to put this down, set it up. Let's do this. Let's try this. All right, I'll be like on the show Okay. All right. How's that? How's that, guys? All right. So let me pull this out here and show you. I can't see the chat, sorry, but see what we got here. Here's a picture of Opal is the baby, the little one. See that okay? All right. That's Opal. Isn't that a beautiful picture? And then we have a family picture. Now, I'm not sure which one. I think Opal's the little one down in the middle there. Isn't that a great picture? Looks to me like the 1940s, maybe the 30s, maybe the 20s. Here's Opal with her family. Looks like her son, one of her sons in the Navy. All right. Now, if you go and find a grave, this is Opal Viola Jodel Tollers. You can see all this. Okay, there's Opal, and then I got a. She was the youngest of 4 children of Barney and Hannah. Hannah Angeline, Annie, or shown on her tombstone as Anna B. Opal grew up here in a tight-knit McCullough family in Washburn and Bayfield. Actually, not here. Washburn and Bayfield. She moved to Superior as a teenager and Bayfield and moved to, moved when Barney moved there as a brakeman on the railroad. I'm not sure who Barney, oh, Barney is dad. Her mother, Opal's mother, died of a brain tumor when Opal was 16 years old only. At 19 years old, she married Rudolph F. Tollers and continued to live in Superior, where the family embraced them. 5 sons were born. That was the picture I showed you of Vincent and triplets. Let's get that picture out. I think that's got to be this picture, but I don't see triplets. I thought it was that picture. Throughout the Superior years, Rudy managed bowling alleys and was a well-known bowler. Wow. Rudy Rudolph. So he was into the bowling alleys. In 1945-46, of course, that's when World War II ended, they co-owned Dreamland, a nightclub. Ooh, I hope this mic is working all right. I got that kind of jammed. I don't need to shout. They co-owned Dreamland, a nightclub outside of Superior. And then Rudy and Opal bought Cozy Town here in Fifield, a place called Cozy Town. And this is where the family roots are. 3 more children were born, Gary, Jeffrey, and Kim. After Rudy died in 59, Opal continued to own Cozy Town until 63, and she moved to 529 Pine Street here, where she raised her children. In the early 60s, she was elected as the town clerk here and served for the next 24 years, intensely engaged in town business. She died at home from a long-standing illness of lung failure. And she died in 2002. She was 86 years old. So what I'm going to do is, this is one where we have a lot more information. So I'm doing this little hangout session here. So let me put this back in the folder. Boy, it's getting humid. Let me put this all back in the folder because, as I did before, I'm going to leave these here for anyone who wants to see them. Let's borrow one of the rocks so it doesn't blow away. All right, let's continue. All right, you still with me, guys? Repo Dawn watches all my videos. Cincinnati, Ohio. Thank you. Yeah, that was the story. Cincinnati, Ohio was the story of the woman who was the circus, the fat lady. Oh my gosh, that was a great episode. YouTube demonetized me on that one. Why? because I used the What's My Line footage. That's okay, don't care. I thought it was worth it. You had to see her in action. We've got a very old one up here. This is another one with a big story. I'm not gonna, you can go on Find a Grave to see more of the story, but I'll show you some of it. Carlita's Way. Ron puts so much thought and care into his videos. Thank you. I do. So here is mother and father. These are buried in the ground. Watching from Brooklyn, watching from Barbados. What time's it in Barbados? Very cool. That's Andrea Deverly from Barbados. Man, what's the weather like there? I bet it's beautiful. So here's their monument, and there's a lot of other family members here. So this guy was pretty, this James Riley was pretty notable here. And Nancy, so you can read her inscription here. I think this is his wife, died at 79 years, 1905. So think back, 1820s, 1830s. This is his inscription, but it's pretty worn away. But the monument, this, I have to tell you guys, whoever's maintaining the cemetery here in Fifield is just doing an outstanding job. Look at this monument. It has a huge foundation. It's not tilting at all. All right, so let's take a look. I'm going to put this thing down here. Try to give you some background to look at. Not me. You don't need to see me. And then let's take some of these pages out and you can have a look at James Riley family. Now the wind is picking up. All right, so this is a picture of James Riley. Okay, there he is. And this is a picture of, I believe, Nancy. It looked like they lived in hard times back then. They didn't look very happy. But again, you know, those old pictures, you couldn't really pose with a smile because... Now here's the stone that's on Find a Grave. I was unable to find that here. James Riley stone. But maybe before we walk away, we'll find it. But according to the bio for him, the family moved to Port Huron, Michigan, but after living there a few years, they came here just before breaking out of the Civil War to Fremont. Oh no, actually down in Fremont Township, Wapaka County. They settled on a farm. In 1860, they were living next door to William Springer and Joanna Eaton. And James Riley was one of the early settlers of this town. He died at his home in this village last Thursday in the afternoon at 4 o'clock. He's a man of some 69 years of age. Let me just check that. Yep, that's... His death was caused by injuries sustained from falling off a loaded wagon on the 3rd of May. Oh, so he died. He didn't die natural causes. He died falling off a wagon. After 5 weeks of terrible misery without a single ray of hope for recovery at any period since injured, death came to him and was a relief. The burial here took place on a Saturday, and many of our citizens paid their last tribute. So rest in peace to James and Nancy Riley. And I'm going to put this back in the folder here for you guys, whatever might be coming out here. They're a little harder than the Ziplocs to get in. There we go. All right, we got a little rock we'll put there. So that's James Riley. All right. Jay Morgan says, my understanding, it was difficult to photograph someone back smiling. Well, first of all, we talked about this in the past. So smiling was considered for photography a little disrespectful. But the biggest reason was that daguerreotype cameras, and then subsequently all those cameras, were very long exposure time, a minute to 5 minutes, some even 12 to 15-minute exposure time. Can you imagine you're trying to hold a smile? You look like an idiot. So you just have to hold your pose for 5 minutes on average. Could you imagine? Let's see. These are more newer graves. Let's go this way. So that's why you see sometimes people are blurry in the picture, because they're not holding still for like 5 minutes. That'd be tough, but that's what they had to do. There's a neat old stone here. Fifield is north of Stanley, where your uncle's buried. Okay, maybe I'll go to Stanley next. How far south is that? Oh, religion? James Hunt says, you're not allowed to smile, a sign of arrogance. Yeah, different times, right? So Geb means born in German. Gest means died, 1884 to 1902. So Johann Wallner was not that old. By the way, there are a lot of veterans here. Like a lot of these cemeteries up here, these little towns gave so much to the war. I mean, this is just one of hundreds here. Died in 53, World War I. Thank you for your service. Isn't this beautiful up here in the Northwoods? Yeah. Mimi says she's heading to the church. We'll catch you on the replay. Very good. Yeah. That's the nice thing about this. You can catch it. Oh, I think they came back and they did a re-engraving here. How cool is that? You never see that. 1955 to 1930. Here's Monica. Passed in 1900. I can't tell how many years. Looks like 49 maybe. 49 years old. All right, let's go this way. Hey, Carol, how are you? Where are you from? Here's a baby son. Nathan John Dietz. Forever in our hearts. Passed in 1983. So sad. Looks like I'll bet another Marie, daughter of Traggy, 1902. So many kids, right? Passed away. All those diseases. We're going to visit a child that died of a disease. We've got his picture. That'll be coming up here. Up this way. Let's go this way. There's a couple older ones here. Laura McDonald asks me, Ron, can you buy photo frames for the pictures? Yeah, anybody. Are you talking about me buying photo frames? Oh, that might be a good idea. Then you could leave the frame here. Yeah, I like that idea. Get some plastic ones that'll weather. And then I can put them in plastic like this. And then before I leave, I can put them all in frames. Yeah. And what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to come up with a methodology. You know, every week we're improving. I'm going to do more of these, but I'm thinking maybe some of you out here, I'm trying to tell you the procedure, can do this. And maybe 10 years from now, when you go to a cemetery, there'll be some I love that idea with the picture frames. And you'll have some, because people are, even the groundskeepers are very respectful. I've seen my roses months later, the year. Remember that one with the woman at Graceland? The yellow rose was still there when I went back. Like, I think it was many months later. But I'm thinking if this catches on a little bit, it's something you guys can do. Some of you who are interested, and maybe it's a little fad we can start. But I love that idea because in a plastic picture frame, maybe with plexiglass or something, or glass, that will weather, you can set them down, kind of like that picture of when I was in Tallahassee, the White Witch. That witch, I don't think she was really a witch, but they had a picture frame of a spooky looking, not even Victorian woman. It was back to the Renaissance. But anyway, yeah, it's like that. I think it's a great idea. What do you guys think? Think that's a good idea? Because I could do this and then bring like 10 frames, get them at Walmart. You don't have to get something expensive, and then go back, take 15 minutes and put them all in frames and put them by the graves, right? What do you think? People like the idea. Okay, I'm going to work on that. I am going to work on that. Now, please remind me who suggested that. Alice, please take note so we can. I always like to do the shout outs. Now, here's an interesting one right up here. Look at this. This is interesting for a certain reason that I picked this one out. So, this is William Orrin Robbins. Okay. You can tell this is old because of the patina on the bronze. William Orrin Robbins passed in 1929. He was 66 years old. Not much information on him, but there is a story of the obituary that I thought was kind of not morbid, but hold on. Here again, I'm gonna have to put this down here. Okay, let's do this. Hold on. All right, I'm gonna do this again. All right, there we go. Let me get down in there. You can see his grave there. Hold on. There. So, if you see this, so that's his picture. Let's see. Yeah. So there's a obituary here, and the part I put in yellow, a short and very impressive funeral service was held at the residence of Mr. and Mrs. G.O. Van Dusen. Oh, by the way, if you go and find a grave here, the Van Dusen family, big here, a lot of pictures, and they're actually right behind us. We'll take a look at them. And a nephew of the deceased, a nephew of Williams, sang the song, The Prayer Perfect. The Phillips Masonic Lodge, at which Mr. Robbins had been a member for many years, and many of whose members have been close personal friends of him, took charge and officiated at interment here, which took place here at Forest Home. So I just thought, the song, The Prayer Perfect, that was sung by his nephew, I thought that was pretty interesting, of William Orrin, talking about the funeral. You just imagine you're here going back to 1929, going a time machine, and you are here, and all these people are here for his funeral. All right, there it is. So now here's the Van Dusen. So he must have been close to them. He's buried right with them. If you go on Find a Grave, you will see some very interesting pictures. Now remember, one of the boys of this family was killed. I don't remember how. I think it was, no, let's see, this is Oscar D and Mary. They died in the 40s, so they were patriarchs. There's Grant, who died in 1940. Pretty old, 1866. Adelia, don't you love that name, Adelia? It reminds me of Wyatt Earp. Baby boy, February, March, April, so a month and a half old. Cornelia. Oh, the boy that I'm talking about is not buried here. He's buried in a different cemetery. We're not going to find him here. All right, let's head this way. What do you guys think? What are you guys doing for Memorial? Not Memorial Day, Labor Day. Ellie had a good question. Let me go back and look at Ellie's question. See if I can find it. Ellie, where's Ellie? I always like good questions. Yes, our followers are very special people. Okay, remind me what Ellie said or Ellie asked, because I do want to ask. Warren Kroom is here. Hey, Warren, send me some good leads. Thank you. If this is in Illinois, a lot of German Irish. No, this is Wisconsin. We're in northern Wisconsin. No more Illinois. Actually, I might come through Illinois next summer because there's a story I have to do in Kentucky. Have to do it. Have to do it. One of those crazy Ron stories that he's going to make a crazy trip. It's not a crazy story. It's a beautiful story. Hey, you made it. Tammy Lynn from Arkansas. Thank you. Great to see you here. Here's Amelia. There's another Amelia. Do you have to check with cemetery before leaving frames, Ellie? Oh, no, I don't think so because it's like leaving flowers. Unless what you have to do, it's a great question. What you have to do is you have to read the rules. Some cemeteries don't allow certain things, but most cemeteries allow flowers. And, for kids, they leave toys. Like right up here, here's one with a flag. So you just have to use common sense. But I think most memorial parks are a little tough. But these old cemeteries, usually you can. Not memorial parks, because they want to mow the lawn and they don't want stuff in the way. I'm not a fan of memorial parks. I think it's for the lazy man, the lazy groundskeeper, or people who want to do it on the cheap. But that's my own opinion. Ziploc bags, yeah. Yeah, let's keep working on it. I feel like we're improving. So this is the Marsh family. All right. And there's a little boy here who died. There's a lot of Marsh. We really need to, this is a big family here. Now the mother, Francis P., 1914 to 1949, she died fairly young. And if you read her obituary or what a family member wrote about Francis, I don't want to say the S word, but she may have taken her own life. Don't know, but it seemed like she was very depressed about her mom passing. And we're going to see her son here who died, his little boy died. He's buried right over here. But interestingly, he does not have a stone of any kind. So here's Ruth Warren. We've got some vets here. One that passed. We have 2 World War II vets. Brothers, probably. Yeah, one was much older. The little baby here, Melissa Ann, passed in 1990. Will you visit Veterans Memorial in Boulder City? Maybe someday. Maybe someday. God, there's just thousands. I wish I had a clone. So here's another one that passed. This is a baby from April to August. So like 4 months old, maybe 3 months old. But this is the picture that caught my eye. This is little Richard Dickey Marsh right here. And there's just a wooden cross for him. I don't know why, but it's all being cared for very well. And it just said that he died of a childhood disease before he had a chance to live. Well, I get that. I think that's kind of harsh. He had a chance to live, and it's the quality of those years and not the length, in my opinion. Although you have to caveat that with He never got married. He never had children. All of that. So not a full life, but hopefully he had a rich life. But he's under these plants here, I think. If you look to find a grave, these were little plants back then when this picture was taken. But I think, Amanda, you're right. I think he should have a stone, but it's not for me. I can see that the family is very active here, taking care of that. So maybe they'll get him. Maybe they're working on getting him a stone. But at least we see his picture, and I saw his picture. Really, he's really a cute little guy. That's right, Brett. I agree. Rest in peace, little one. Who's got their coffee out? Anybody got Starbucks, or you got the homemade coffee? That's right, Aunt B. Remember the episode we did on Candace Warning this week? Her two daughters. That's exactly right. I believe in that. Ella. I love that name, Ella. I think my favorite name of those old time names, and now I can't remember it. I'll think of it. What's your favorite old time woman's name? Ella, Urilla. That's Wyatt Earp's first wife's name. Oh, what was the name? I can't think of the name. Lavina. That's the name. That's my favorite name, Lavina. I don't know why I like that name. Oh, look at these flowers. Holy cow. Here's a Navy man with a beautiful flag. You know, when I see this, he wasn't Navy, he was Air Force. The guy in Utah, the candy bomber. We got to go back out to Utah to do the candy bomber because I'm sure he has. Hey, can somebody check his grave? Does he must have a stone by now. He did not have a gravestone when I went out there to do his story. Look at these flowers. Holy cow. Wonder if they're real. These might be real flowers, guys. No, they're fake. That's why they look so good in fall. Monica has homemade coffee right on. I take my coffee with cream. Just cream, and I like it hot. And I don't like Starbucks. I don't even like Starbucks hot chocolate. And by the way, when I order Starbucks, if I do go in there, I'm at the airport, I'll get some. I refuse to say mocha, blocha, Mickey Mouse. I say, I want a hot chocolate. And I want it large. I'm not going to say venti, blente, mente. That's a bunch of BS. All right, this is Spear Breaker. Now, this is a vet. This is William. Is that Master Sergeant, U.S. Army? So he served, lived out a pretty good life, died at 88. And there is a picture of him here. Actually, there's a very clear picture of him if you go and find a grave. That's what he looked like, William August. Willie, they call him Willie. Agreed, Starbucks. I'll take cowboy coffee over them anyway. Right on. That's what I'm talking about. There are Starbucks everywhere. They just put a Starbucks in Monaco, of all places. I like the cemetery. I was able to find everybody because of signs like this. Isn't that great? Look at this stone over here. Wow. Irma Marie Hicks. Looks like pictures. This might be the only grave I see with pictures. Yeah. So what's this? Ron somebody chops. So this is recent. This is 2020. Still hasn't gotten a stone. Ron Clark. So I wonder if he's related to the Hicks family. But look at this stone. Holy cow. A lot of Hicks family here. So we do have a couple ovals. I think these are the only ovals at the cemetery. The marriage picture. Now, let's see. Isn't that a great picture? Looks like catering. Was she into catering? Irma? All right, who else? I have one more way up there. Let's head up that way. I got one more. I think maybe two. Thank you, Dana Serrano. Serrano? $5 with a foxy face. Thank you. All to good cause. Jennifer Lewis, are you around? I got to look up Jennifer Lewis in upstate New York. We've got to get some video of the Kellers, the Keller stone that we bought. I will just say it was very expensive because we got it like old time, custom made, 1800s style marble. They would not let us bury it. They would not let us stand the stone up like the other stones. They made us bury it flat in the ground. I didn't like that. Not happy about that, but hey, they have their reasons. Flo cost us back for the big 50. Thanks, Flo. Flo, you are so generous. You got to see Flo's, the episode I did on Flo and her family. Karen, close friends from Chicago. The Christmas story. Family of 20 some. Wow. So many veterans here. Wow. Woo, it's getting humid, guys. It's going to be in the 90s up here. Very unusual. The nights have been 40 to 50 degrees. But we have like a 2 or 3 day spell of heat here. Look at this. Forest Home Cemetery bell. Look at this. It says ringing the bell during funerals has been customary for centuries in many places around the world. So they do that here. And it's from the American Legion back in 2010. I'm not going to ring the bell. I think that would be disrespectful. I do hear the flag. Flag is flying, guys. Flag is strong. Look at this thing. There's a nice breeze moving in. Isn't that beautiful? They have a grill. Oh, look at this. Wow, what a beautiful original sculpture. This is like made of just stones. See that, guys? In memoriam. Yeah, this is for the veterans, all the veterans. You can see here, right down the line, the Order of the Arrow, built by Tom Kitakchara. Cool. Little project for somebody. That is a very unique marker, isn't it? Look at this one. Isn't this thing, marble? Great shape. You know why? Because there's very little acid rain up here. You go to Graceland in Chicago, this is melted into a stump. Not just the winters, it's really the acid rain. We've learned that. We've learned a lot here doing this stuff. Let's go this way, guys. Ellen, 4 generations of your mom's family, including daughter who died as a child, are buried in Berlin, New Jersey. Would love to add pictures. Yeah, get those ovals. Get those ovals on there. I think that's important. Mount Carmel has, the Italians, they're big into also Eastern Bloc, Polish, Czech. And you go to those cemeteries, and Jewish. Jewish cemeteries have lots of ovals. That's what we've learned. A lot of these pioneers were German, 1862 born. Here's a neat old stone here. Look at this. Barely being held together. Big Chevy's with us. What's going on, buddy? No likes the channel. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I'm having fun doing this, guys. I'm having fun sharing all of this with you, especially investigating these stories. So I'm heading out actually Tuesday, day after Labor Day. I'm heading to Arizona via Iowa, Kansas. I should say Minnesota, Iowa, Kansas, New Mexico. Still looking for a New Mexico story. So I found a New Mexico story. Super intriguing, crazy outlaw story. But the landowner, I did find the ranch owner, and he said no. And you know what? It's an unknown location, unknown. A story that if I broadcasted it with the viewership we have, it would rain on that ranch with nay-doers. I said, you know what? I agree with you. God bless. Oh, but I hated to let that one go. All right, we have a World War I man here that I did some digging on. Find a grave. Isn't that a beautiful bronze plaque? Frank Boyer. He died in France fighting. There's the American Legion. Thank you, Nadia, for the 5. I don't remember if I got any info on, but that's what Frank, he was 28. Yeah, Wisconsin National Guard. He played tuba in the military band, and he was killed while acting as a stretcher bearer. Isn't that sad? He was acting as a stretcher bearer. He was trying to save someone else's life, and he lost his. This says, looks like, I don't know if that says music. I don't know what that is. Thanks, Sarah, for the $10. Thank you for what you're doing. Admire your dedication. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the money. All the money is going towards gravestones. We're taking a little break right now. We're pretty far in debt, but we'll catch up. We did get the one for Leroy Woods, $9,000 stone, the truck driver. Very excited. Whoa! Just went down the hill here. Very excited. When Frank installs that, we'll get some video on that, or pictures at least. A lot of old stones here, guys. All right, we're going to go to a little special little corner here. I want to show you guys something a little different. You ready to see something a little different and heartwarming? Anybody? Ooh, this is like fall colors, guys. How about that? Halloween is coming. Oh, do I have the Halloween stories for you? I have 6 or 7 stories for Halloween month. Maybe 8. We're going to do well again this year. Let's go over here, guys. Ambrielle says yes. Sarah says yes. Yeah, it's beautiful here. Look at the woods. Look at this pump. I wonder if it works. Should we check out the pump, see if it pumps water? I bet it does. I see rust spots. I remember when I was little at the Park District, Niles, Illinois, they would have these pumps, and we call it egg water. It smelled like eggs, but we drank it because we were thirsty. I'm just curious. Look at that. This reminds me of when we were in Minnesota doing the axe murder story. Look at that, the original decal, it looks like. All right, let's see if it works. You think, uh-oh, we got more money from Ashley Kane. Thank you for bringing these people back to life. Thanks, Ashley, for the $10. If I can get the gimbal to work here. Come on. I don't know. Oh, yeah. We got water. All right. It works, guys. Doesn't smell like eggs. So that's cool. Anybody want a drink? Jane Rudy says, just want to let you know now, my 7-year-old grad, a lot of cemeteries. He likes the older mausoleum ones. Oh, those are my favorite too. Those are my favorite too, the mausoleums. Warren Kroom just sent me a New Mexico. Well, it's got to be in Las Vegas, New Mexico. I'm passing through Las Vegas. I'm looking specifically. I've got a ton of New Mexico stories, but I'm not going to do them until this winter or next year when I'm in Arizona. So you know what's going on here, guys, right? In memory of our beloved pets. Meow, meow, meow. So we got a Chihuahua, we got a cat, we got cats. We got a little puppy dog here. Egg smells from the sulfur. This is a pet cemetery. And look at that. It was a Boy Scout project. John Ertel, 2004. That sounds like the same Boy Scout name that did that project in Illinois I did at Lost Cemetery where they were riding motocross bikes on the graves. DJ Tracker. Oh, look at that. Here's a couple of little pups. Their names are only known to their owners. We don't know who they are, but I'll bet it was a poodle. That looks like a Cocker Spaniel. We got a poodle and a Cocker Spaniel here. This says Ambler. Looks like a poodle. Like plastic, October 20th. Can't see the year. Ambler. This is Sarah. Louise and Phil's trusted Boston Terrier. Sarah is buried here, little Sarah. Here are some hearts. I love my dog, says. You guys love your dog? I love my dog. My dogs, I should say. Look at this one. Wow. Over here. Look at this piece of work. Wow, this is beautiful. Too bad it's covered in moss. But here lies some faithful pup, guys. Here lies a faithful pup. All right, guys. That's going to do it for me. Starting to get pretty hot here. I'm glad we're doing this in the morning. Thanks for hanging out with me. And hopefully I see a lot of you guys tonight on the premiere, 8 p.m. Central Time. Will be the little boy, a little story. We're in Amish country tonight, central northern Wisconsin. You're going to see Amish, and you're going to see it's a noted, famous, locally famous story of what happened to this little boy in the 1800s. It's really sad. Here come the gnats. Okay, I'll see you later before I get eaten up by these insects. All right, catch you tonight, and have a great weekend and week ahead. Okay, be safe.